who is that girl? And at this moment, this girl, she was different from the girls they had in their city, because because all of the girls in their city had round faces and braids the color of brown. And Ponko didn't want to show him the picture and said, let go of that picture. So at this moment we see that the narrator is imagining Ponko with Bridge, who is from his past life. Like, why would he imagine her with Ponko? I guess that could be a moment of jealousy or imagination. We don't know yet.
Okay. Yes, and at that point when he took this photograph, he read the line, to remind you of Zuida Osgard. So he says, who is Zuida Osgard? And at that moment he got the punch to his face from the Ponko, so we can see the clear jealousy from Ponko towards Zuida. Because if there was no jealousy, he wouldn't react this fast, and then the fight between Ponko and this character starts. They start fighting, and then the Ponko's body's description appears. We see how big he is, how strong his bones are. And at that moment, the author says, like, I'm kind of fighting with him. And he's describing this feeling, and he says, I feel this, but maybe it's not my feelings. Maybe it's your feelings as a reader. So here we see that the character is talking to the reader directly. Then they're fighting, and at that moment he just randomly thinks about that girl. Her name was Breach, with whom they were lying, just as with Ponko right now. He says, I had rolled with her, one on top of the other, almost like now with Ponko. So he thinks about the Bridge. Probably Bridge is, as Anas said, from his past life, and he's reminiscing about her. At the same time, he says, I don't want to give Bridge away to Ponko. That's why I'm fighting with him. But maybe I'm fighting with Bridge, so she will not she will not get into Ponko's hands. So he was fighting to don't give nothing to his rival, nor the Zuida, nor the Bridge, because he's thinking about Zuida as well. He says, I'm fighting also for Zuida too.
Yeah, that's interesting, because Ponko became his rival. So the next thing is that the narrator talks to us, the readers, and says about the violent fight they had with Ponko. He mentions that he crushed Ponko's chest and blocked the twisting of his arms and so on. He declares that he has a possession to Bridge and Zuida simultaneously, which is really difficult to understand, I guess. Then he says that when the possession of a Bridge I feel already lost. When he thinks about Zuida, the possession to Bridge is almost lost. So is he about to forget Bridge, or what? We are struggling to understand him. Maybe because he's struggling to understand himself, because he says, I try in vain to clasp those female ghosts that vanish in their unattainable difference. Also he says, I try at the same time to strike myself, perhaps the other self that is about to take my place in the house, or else self most mine. He is really self-doubted, like he doesn't know who is himself, and I find it difficult to us understand his real personality, and I felt like his personality was divided into two parts. Like he is the one part is the narrator in the past, and one is the narrator in the another place where he was going to arrive.
And then the fight is over, the scene changes, the character is outside. He says, so here is him in the trunk with his luggage and looking at everything from the small window of his trunk. of his truck. So here he uses a lot of I. Like basically in this chapter we see a lot of I, so we don't know who's his I yet, but we know that this I is different from the I's before. So it's more a first person narrative here. So he started describing everything. He says, my room seems alien to me now. Everything seems alien to him. And he's afraid that he will not establish any relationships with people. He's thinking about breach, but at the same time he doesn't know what he will tell her when he finally sees her. But he also is going to breach thinking of Swida, and he wants them to be like simultaneously like one person, like breach Swida. And he is like not certain yet. Probably he really doesn't know, like he has no clue of who he is at the first place. I agree with you. And then the scene changes. We see the grandfather and two bodies of Kauni and Pito, 22 and 24 years old, and they are the Cowders. They belong to Cowders, and they're both dead. They have their chests torn open by wolf bullets. And the grandfather says that he doesn't know who did it, and we didn't know anything about it. And then probably the character says that I actually thought that everything was settled before you and Outskirts, and the grandfather said that everything is in peace just from the funeral to the funeral, but we will never be like in a peace state, like ever. And then the grandfather's wife appears and she says, well, I hope like Gritsby will be fine here. And Mr. Crowder says that he's not a Cowderer, so he's fine. We are in danger always. And then the door opens. We feel the smell of horses in the yard. And then the buggy said, like, Gritsby, hurry up. Where are you? So we know that the I is Gritsby, so the character's name is Gritsby. And then he takes a step forward toward Mr. Crowder, who was buttoning up his felt gray coat. So this was the ending of this story.
Mm-hmm. So how it was for you? Like for me, it was really dense. It was difficult to read, and I had to reread the lines again and again to get what the author wanted to tell us. Some occasions were really difficult to understand for me. And also from the beginning I had a question, who is talking to us? Who is this I? And the last sentences are only revealing the name of the narrator, Gritsby. So that's happening.
Yes, also it's another story, so we don't know yet. Is this what the book is about, or is it another paratext as the paratext before? So I'm also confused with this story, and I just want to know what will happen next in the next chapter.
I guess Gritsby, it ended up that Gritsby was going to arrive somewhere. I guess there will be a continuation. Each detail of the kitchen is presented.
Sorry. Знаете, долго было?
Нет?
Спасибо.